All right, let's go ahead and work on problem 8 together. I'm going to switch to the black ink so that it looks a little different. Okay, here's what we have. We want to find the inverse of this. So the first thing we got to do is make sure we actually have a y available we can use, which we do. Y equals -2 times 3x minus 5. Now, I have to switch the x and y. That's what inverse means on this level of math. Switch the x and y. And check it out. I've now switched the x and y. Now what you do on this part is you solve for y. And those are minus signs. They're just too small. You're going to solve for y. That's what you're going to do. So what do I do here? You could divide this -2 out or distribute. I think I'm going to distribute. That just seems easier. So -2 times 3 is -6y. -2 times -5 is positive 10. Bring down my x. I got to get my 10 over on both sides. So that's x minus 10, x minus 10 is equal to -6y. And then you're going to divide out this -6 on both sides. And honestly, you can leave it just like that. Some of y'all can separate it. I'll show you another way to separate it, right? Hold on, let me write this. So when it's all said and done, this cancels out, and you end up with y equals x minus 10 over -6. And I will gladly take this answer. However, if you want to make it prettier for those who are going on to higher maths, what you can do is split this apart. Each term would get its own denominator. So this would be x over -6, and then that minus is still there on the numerator, so that's a minus, and then you'd have 10 over, you'd also have it over -6. You'd reduce this x over 6 by bringing that negative up to the top, because that's the correct way to do it. This minus and minus right here cancels out to a plus. And then you can simplify this fraction by dividing by 2. So you end up with 5 over 3, which gives you your y. So I will take both of these answers. I'm going to circle them in blue right now. I am glad with either of these. This one works for me, and so does this one. They're the same thing mathematically. So whenever you record your answer at the very final step, whichever one you're going to use, and I'll use this one right here, I prefer it recorded like this, f of -1, which is the inverse function, and then you write down your answer like this, x minus 10 over -6. Boom, not that big of a deal. I'm going to go ahead and solve 9 on the same problem. Actually, no, I'm not, because it has a little bit different step to it. Different